There it is. Yeah. Pretty wild stretch of coast here and just so many polar bears. It's hard to believe, really. Woo! Cheers, my good man. Pretty relaxing not to have to get up, pack everything up today, and make it 30 or 40 kilometers. We have the day to explore and to relax on this pretty awesome cabin. Like, honestly, it's bigger than I thought it was gonna be. It's really cool. There's lots of like notes from other groups and people that have visited the cabin or paddled the Seal River, or where they started and where they finished. You notice Frank Wolf and Shauna Lior's note from last year. That's kind of cool to see, and we'll leave our names here somewhere as well. I'm sure some of the groups that have come through here haven't all been able to fit in the cabin, so me and Jim are wondering how they decide who sleeps amongst the bears and who goes in the cabin. But who knows, maybe they all just pack in here anyway and just like leave their gear outside. A few times in the night we woke up excited, thinking like we had heard a bear, and like peered out the windows, and then couldn't get back to sleep right away because kind of riding a high from having completed the trip and being in such a cool place. Not far from our cabin, and we're observing polar bears. They're out there hunting belugas, and we did see some beluga whales. Their white backs kind of come up. Yeah. Yeah. This guy just ducked under. Oh, dude! He just attacked a whale. It's hard to decipher between the white caps of the waves and the belugas, but sure enough, you can definitely see that super white back, and then also like their blowholes blowing like a mist in the air. And then we saw polar bears out there in 2 occasions. This one's just sitting kind of on an island far away, and the other one was like swimming and floating on a sandbar as the tide come in, and was trying to hunt these belugas. So pretty freaking cool.
That's 5 bears we've seen now. A mother and 2 cubs yesterday, and now 2 other solo bears here. Pretty wild stretch of coast here, and just so many polar bears. It's hard to believe, really. It's amazing. That one also has ducked under the water now. We don't really know where it went, so we're kind of keeping our eyes peeled just in case it was like, oh, what are those yummy looking things over there? And just like snorkel up to us and burst out.
Yeah, that bear that I was looking at just dove under and it's swimming now.
Just what a great place to observe them. Just so beautiful, so amazing. So freaking cool. Hopefully when we paddle out to meet our boat shuttle tomorrow, be able to maybe see some belugas as well, and you know, maybe hopefully those bears don't give us any trouble at the same time. You can imagine us paddling out amongst polar bears and belugas and trying to load the boat. So I think they're dialed in on what they're actually hunting, and it won't be, you know, that big of a deal, but you know, we gotta stay on edge. But really fortunate to be out here witnessing this. Just like, seems hard to believe, but amazing.
Whoa, there's the bear right in front of me.
It was off the point, dude. It just swam from here to the point. Crazy, dude.
Yeah, there it is.
Unreal, dude, how it did that. Swam under that fast. Smaller. I thought it was a wolf for a second. Maybe this is the same mom yesterday. Its cubs were just waiting here for it.
Pretty cool. Pretty good entertainment for the day. Watching polar bears hunt whales on Hudson Bay. How cool is that? Ted used the sat phone this morning to just call to make sure our boat pickup was on its way for tomorrow. She asked, oh geez, you know, like, do you guys have a gun? You have a gun, right? Oh, okay, that's good, that's good. The bears have been bad this year. Consistent topic of conversation around here, I imagine.
Those are some big bears, that's for sure. Just absolutely dwarf the black bears we've seen this trip. Just dwarfs them. Like the cubs we saw, I swear, were about the same size. Well, we didn't see it, but at some point today, a big old wolf also walked by the cabin. Pretty huge, big guy. But yeah, fresh tracks, for sure. Fresh, big wolf tracks. You know, from after the tide went out, it came in and just snuck beneath our noses and we never saw it. So that would have been cool to see, but it's cool to know it was there. That is a big wolf.
Whalebone. I just found that kicking around on the beach. Looks like it's from a pretty big whale.
There's some big old bear prints. Another big one here. Look at that. Right beside the shack. I think this one's mom, and the other one are the cubs. Then these two here.
See those two right here and here. There's the claws here. Look at the claws. Oh my goodness. Wow. Here's the pad here. And like the ground has been squished up from the weight on either side. And claws here. Those tracks are all right outside our shed, and we actually woke up last night because we heard something smashing around out there, and it was like pretty loud, but like there's only 3 windows, and on the back side of the cabin a bear has smashed out the window, so it's just like full-time boarded up. The bears stand up and smash the window, so now it's just fully boarded up with nails. When you leave, you close the hatch here and the nails in so that they won't like look in and break the windows. But we heard something like pretty big out here, but we couldn't see out this window, and I'm thinking that they might have come. Here they are again. And again. Yeah, dude, I think they walked around here last night. Crazy. Scratch marks. Fuel drums. Fairly common find in the north. When people travel large distances by snowmobile, they'll often just strap one of these entire drums to their Comatic sledge and pull it, and then affix a pump to the top to pump it out to refill. And also for planes, people, bush pies will cache them sometimes. Prospecting camps will have them delivered. Some areas where there's no wood in the Arctic, they need to heat with oil, and so these will carry aviation fuel, just straight, typical unleaded gas, things like that. Enjoying the day here on the coast at the cabin at the mouth of the Seal River on Hudson's Bay, and we've been taking the day to watch polar bears. Someone kindly left a telescope here, and so we're able to spot things a little further off with that, which is kind of really fun to just observe what they're up to, and we're able to see some belugas. But I'm just really loving it here. Like, it's just so cool. Absolutely fantastic day. Got here a day early before our shuttle, and I'm glad we did, because this is a highlight of the trip, I would say, for sure. I feel very fortunate to be able to visit here and travel here and undertake the adventure that we did, and come out safely and get the experiences that we're getting. Don't want to take it for granted, and it's just been overall amazing.
my trail cam. The smudge marks right across it. Ted was bummed that we didn't get the trail cam out to see the polar bears circumnavigating the cabin while we slept. But maybe on the trail cam we have a wolverine investigating. There's the print, so it looked up. It jumped right up there. Jumped up onto this rock, sniffed at the trail cam till it fell over, and maybe that startled it and it left. So it looks, because of those claw marks, it would have jumped as opposed to walking around the rock. I think that means that we might have trail cam footage of a wolverine.
Breakfast at the cabin. We leave today. Shuttle is going to be here at 2 o'clock. We're gonna have to paddle out to meet him because it's too shallow for him to bring his boat and motor in here. We'll have to navigate the gauntlet of polar bears as we do this. Kind of funny, but actually true. We're out there swimming around yesterday, like diving under for multiple minutes at a time, hunting belugas. And I do hear the wind picking up pretty significantly. Hopefully that doesn't become an issue and he's not able to get us. It would really suck to like pack up, get ready and wait, and then him not come because of the wind. Hopefully it's manageable.
The last bit of creamer has been tightly rationed. That's it. Creamer all the way till day 25, people. How much less fat I am.
Yeah.
Oh. What is that?
It's a hernia.
Hernia. We just burned this shirt.
Are you going to change your shirt for the train?
Yes. But put it back on when you meet Tori. We rationed the last couple of flakes of creamer for 25 days. We still had some for the last day. Quite a skill. It's probably near the most important on the bushcraft survival list is your ability to ration creamer by eyeballing it, dumping it out of the corner of a Ziploc.
For 25 days in advance from day one.
Right.
When kept in 2 separate bags.
Right.
Ted had a bag and I had a bag. Ultimate survival skill. Bushcraft lessons from the Wildernes Survivalists, winner of Alone Season 4, Jim and Ted Baird.
Hi, I'm Ted Baird, and this is Jim Baird. You might also know us as the winners of Season 4 of Alone on the History Channel.
How far I can really push it.
Where we survived 75 days living off the land with a mere 10 items and no food. Today we're going to be discussing how to ration your creamer over the course of 25 days by eyeballing it from 2 different bags and 2 different food barrels and still have a reasonable, noticeable amount on the 25th day.
After that, we're going to dive deep into the ability to properly stir your coffee with a large sheath knife or the end of a paddle.
These survival skills will probably keep you alive in the most dire situations in the most remote, extreme wildernesses left on the planet as we know them today.
Also, did you bring enough peanut butter? Chapter 4 of my new book.
Chapter 5. How not to go irate and stab your paddle canoe partner.
Chapter 6. How to properly stab them, if it does happen.
So we had a trail cam, we were too exhausted and we didn't put it out the first night, and then after walking around yesterday we discovered that the mother polar bear and her 2 cubs just circled the cabin at night. We heard them smashing things and we actually woke up and looked out. That window's been boarded up. We didn't see them, but like they were definitely there. Someone must have stared in the window for all we know.
Mm-hmm. Out of sleeping and lick their lips.
looks like a telescope here, and we've been able to observe the bears and belugas at huge distances we couldn't otherwise with our camera. I think one of the coolest things is not just seeing a bear, but observing their behavior in their own habitat. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Massive wolf print right here, about that wide. It's really cool to actually, that's quite an old print, as you can see stuff that's growing in there, but it's quite cool to just like actually feel the print, especially in a fresh one, and it almost feels like you're feeling the wolf's real paw. It feels like you're touching the animal. This is day 25 of our adventure. Our boat shuttle pickup should be coming in a couple hours. Gonna have to portage all our gear and canoes to the river and paddle out to meet Jack Batstone, who's a legendary northern person from Churchill. He is the guy you call if you want a boat pickup from here. He knows what he's doing. He can't come in here because it's just too shallow, so we're gonna have to paddle out to him. You can see I'm carrying a 12 gauge shotgun with me loaded with slugs. Definitely recommended to bring if you're walking around or camping in this area. I've honestly lost count of how many bears we've seen, how many different bear sightings. Some might have been the same one, but likely at least 8 or 9 bears we've seen. Ted and I both hope that the polar bears are getting food, because less likely of a chance that they'll decide to turn their attention to putting us on the menu. Crazy the amount of bears here, the amount of wildlife, just the wildness of the area in general. Prints from massive wolves, a lot of caribou sign, the bears, the whales, the seals, just everything has been incredible. I haven't just seen the bears. What's been really cool is that we've actually got the chance to observe the bears. We've sat there on shore and watched their activities, watched their behavior, watched them hunt for belugas. We even saw a polar bear lunge at a beluga whale, watched them stand up, sniff the air, sleep on top of rocks way out in the tidal flats, and watch the incredible distances they can swim underwater and then come up. And Ted and I spent hours yesterday just looking for bears and watching what they do, watching how they behave, watching the mother bear and how it interacted with its cubs, which is super cool. So not just a place to see bears, but a place to really observe bears, and polar bears too, which are just such a majestic animal. And really this whole final stretch of the trip has been majestic. You know, the Arctic grayling we've been catching with their shimmering iridescent colors, the seals in the rapids way inland. I didn't even know that was a thing. The ice canyons on the rivers that we paddled down, multiple kilometers long rapids, gorges, the spans, the widths of the river, watching the seals porpoise like this up the rapids, swimming up the rapids as we canoe down challenging rapids. It definitely threw a lot of challenges at us on the Seal River, and we put a lot of miles behind us, keeping up our daily distance of over 32 kilometers each day in the earlier stretches of the trip, which was very challenging. One of the beautiful things around here is just all the birds too, all different kinds of birds.
A lot of people ask why, like, oh, it's so hard. It's really just an incredible adventure. You're just forced to live in the moment. The nature of this trip and this kind of adventure demands that. They say anxiety is thinking about the future and depression is thinking about the past. Well, out here you don't really have that option. Forced to live in the moment, have to be one foot after the other. What are we going to do here? What are we going to do there? Making your food, setting up a camp, and you don't have time to think about things we have no control over, like the housing market, how you look, and the clothes you're wearing. That doesn't really matter out here, and it actually feels amazing. 4 walls and a roof above your head, and You know, the basic needs to survive and move on is all you need. And it's, I think, a lot of the way we were supposed to live as animals, as people, is in the moment. Just enjoy these moments as best as I can while I'm here, because, you know, there's a very good chance I'll never be back here again. There's something so fulfilling about doing an adventure like this, being able to share the experience with my brother. Really fortunate to be able to do that. I don't want to take that for granted. In the wilderness that we have here, it's really just invaluable. We didn't see one other person at all in 25 days. Living in Canada, very fortunate. If you have the chance to come to Canada and experience some true wilderness, even if it's with a guiding company, I highly recommend it. It's an adventure like none other. Definitely something to add to your bucket list. Seeing some notes from people from towns that come up here in the winter and do some traditional hunting and trapping and everything. Just hear a bit of their tales of what they ran into and how many bears they saw here, and pretty special area for sure. Here, Daniel Agalak, March 31st, 2018, wolf hunting, back to home to Aravat. July 7th, 2011, making a run to Churchill in a Voyageur canoe after a successful trip here from South Indian Lake. Spirits are high. Would be fun to do that, paddle the coast. Here's one towards Iceland expedition, 2003. Wow. First leg of journey completed. Nijiklani Lake, Wolverine River, Seal River, many polar bear upon arrival. Pretty cool. All the stories and memories that have happened here in this cabin. I'm sure it would be awesome to sit here and share stories of our adventures together.
And what a trip, starting from Melvin Lake, crossing a height of land, the height of land in between the Lake Winnipeg and the Nelson River and into the Seal River watershed, hauling up the Barrington River, just wading up rushing rapid, paddling up them when we could, navigating by compass over the height of land.
We made it over the height of land. Yeah!
Traveling from going upriver to then going down rivers, and then of course heading across some of these massive lakes. Big Sand Lake, absolutely massive. Having these challenges of enormous distances to paddle and being exhausted at the end of the day, knowing you're probably only going to get to sleep for 4 hours before you have to do it all again, and then having these gusting winds, these scary winds throwing at you, threatening to pin you down in one spot for multiple days as your food resources dwindle, not being able to travel, but being able to overcome that by building a catamaran, by putting our minds together and building a sail so we could travel large distances in this massive lake and these huge waves, and then dealing with the extremely high water we had in the earlier days of the trip on the South Seal, where, you know, rapids were completely flooded into the trees, having to portage things we wouldn't normally have to portage, and having to scout things that were very challenging, wading through flooded forests, and a lot of the rapids being way more challenging than we thought they were going to be. Finally getting into the sea, having seen the water had gone down some by the time we got there, fortunately, but also still dealing with the challenges of high water, still managing to get through all of them without even having to portage once on the Seal, and then almost on the last rapid of the trip having an absolute curveball thrown us, where a series of massive holes. I went through it, took in a lot of water. Ted dumped right there, but we managed to save the boat, lost a GoPro, but at the end of the day, who cares? And to finish the trip in an absolutely beautiful setting with a perfect sunset, and as soon as we get to Hudson's Bay, to climb out of the boat and see the mother and 2 cubs was a little scary, but also just an amazing thing to see those, and then to continually observe and see polar bears and whales the next day was just incredible. I mean, the Seal River is just like an absolute Shangri-La, and it feels like you're in just an enchanted land, is the best way to describe it. Absolutely spectacular. We're both extremely happy and extremely proud of ourselves for our accomplishment, and closer as brothers when it's all been said and done too, which I think is about the best thing you could possibly ask for. What an adventure.
This door on the inside and this door on the outside that you pull closed. And that door has a bunch of nails, so if the bear comes and tries to punch the door in, he's going to get paws full of nails. Not everyone is able to visit places like this for whatever the reason is, and I feel good being able to share it with you all. So I appreciate you all coming along and following and watching. Hopefully you enjoy it too, because places are pretty special, and it's nice to showcase them, because it's also important to keep places like this wild as well for the future, so that places stay wild and free.
Got our boats loaded up, and we're just waiting out here as the tide slowly comes in, just slowly moving our canoes up as the tide comes in. As soon as our boat shuttle gets here, he's going to be out there close to the mouth of the river, and we're going to jump him and paddle out, and that's the plan. So we got everything loaded in there kind of like in a decent enough way, and we'll have to unload it, so hopefully there's not too much chop or things could get interesting, but he should be here literally any minute. Looks like our ride there. Yeah, that's gotta be our ride, dude.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, that's him for sure.
Looks like he's waiting out there. Looks like a ways out.
Right. Jim's just shooting a thing saying like we're gonna come meet him.
Yeah, he heard it. Here he comes.
Looks like the conditions are pretty favorable. We have, you know, tailwind coming from shore, so less opportunity for it to build. But it might get a little hairier out there. We will see. But all in all, I'd say pretty favorable conditions.
Chop here. Crazy though. But definitely seeing some whales out here. It's their bow. There's another one. Oh, Ted's just right up on some belugas. So cool. Oh, this is awesome. What a cool way to finish the paddling part of our trip here.
How are ya? Good? All right. What would you like me to do? Pull along this side. Okay.
Here we go, baby. Almost there. Jack Fatstone, I presume. How are ya?
Oh, you guys, there's only two of you.
Yeah.
Three. You guys quit or what?
No, there's only two.
Yeah. I mean, we felt like quitting a couple times, but you know.
The bugs were bad, eh?
Oh yeah.
Pretty brutal.
Very true. That's
Brad?
Brad, yeah.
Okay, right on. Todd flew us in, I think.
Sarah, I was just talking to Brad, and he flew us both in one big pot of
This one's heavier. Thanks. Yeah, we're good.
We were worried maybe it was someone else. We didn't want to paddle up. Yeah, it was really calm this morning, and then
It's blowing up since we pulled up here. That was much better than the first way, eh?
I get along pretty good. So my dad used to haul, in the wintertime, he used to use those old little tractors. He used to haul freight deer, Hubbard Point, Caribou Lake, and Duck Lake. Duck Lake is close to Najalini Lake.
Okay.
Yeah, we used to haul in there, so all the people pretty well know our last name.
Oh yeah. Hey Ted, look. That's a good one there. There we go. Baby one. About this, or they're never gonna let us go again. What do you mean?
How long are the beluga here?
Oh, are they? How long do the beluga whales stay around the mouth of the river here?
First week of September. There's more here than.
Right here, Jim, look.
Yeah, I see that.
Think our wives would like this at all times? Stay around the mouth of the river here. Gotta pay you too, eh?
We can't pay you in smiles? No. I could just pull it all the way up there, but
Yeah, that's good.
where you can, right?
So that's all they have.
Well, here we are in Churchill, and we are having ourselves a cold brew. How's that beer taste there, Jim?
Real good.
We're getting some burgers and some fries, having a couple of beers. Freaking sweet. Wind died off. Nice smooth drive all the way from the cabin. Saw some belugas, like just right up front. Just amazing experience. And they put us up, taking real good care of us, and now we're having some delicious beers. It is almost 10 o'clock. Here we are in the gorgeous Churchill, Manitoba. I just watched the sunset behind me. Absolutely spectacular. This is the land of the never-ending sunset, it feels like. It doesn't get dark till like 11 and the sun just sets these
unbelievable sunsets. I can hear the belugas behind me just out past the tide. There's tons of whales out there. Absolutely spectacular. Just what a beautiful place, what a beautiful day. And it's really nice that we have some time to spend here in Churchill. We went out this afternoon, we got a hamburger and had a few beers, and just enjoyed the day, talked to some of the locals, and just really freaking enjoying this. And I just think this is a gorgeous place if you want to come and visit. You know, great place to see polar bears, great place to see belugas, great place for the sunsets are out of this world, and just great people and beautiful culture. It's really spectacular. It's hard to go to sleep in a place like this, I gotta say. Jack Batstone put us up in a cabin that he's got here. We catch a train tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Might get out, you know, visit with some of the local guys. One guy was saying we could help him tend to his nets even. We'll see what we get up to, but just freaking awesome. I'm loving my time here, and you know, I wish it wasn't so short, but what are you gonna do? Just thankful that we're here now. It's about 10 o'clock and 10 p.m. and I'm just paddling out. I was going to call it a night, but I couldn't resist because I hear all the belugas out here making noise, blowing their little blowholes as they do, and I just couldn't resist but paddle out and see if I could get up close to a few of them before I turn in for the night. I just had a beluga literally scrape the bottom of my canoe and make me feel off balanced. Unfreaking believable. This is hands down one of the craziest experiences I've ever had. There's belugas literally hitting the bottom of my canoe, blowing air bubbles on the bottom of the canoe, coming around me, squeaking, making all kinds of whale noises, popping up. They have babies. It's almost like a little nerve-wracking because like maybe they could tip me. I don't know. I feel pretty safe, but wow. I did kneel down though. Unreal. Unfreaking real. It is getting pretty late though, so I probably should head back because I am floating out to the ocean. But look at them behind me even, just unbelievable. What would you do if you were out camping in the backcountry or even at home and you got an infection, you needed antibiotics and you couldn't get any? pick yourself up a Jace case. 100% legal, board certified antibiotics by Jace Medical. Go online, you fill out a form, a board certified physician will contact you, walk you through everything, and prescribe you these antibiotics, and they will ship right to your house. An overlooked part of any first aid kit is having antibiotics. Whether you're a backcountry camper, you're a prepper, homesteader, this is a very important thing to have. Literally had people on trips get infections where little cut had made their whole leg swell up and some pretty serious axe injuries, etc. If you don't have these in that kind of situation, you're in real trouble. Also, nowadays, antibiotics are manufactured overseas. We just went through a pandemic. We're still going through a pandemic. There's wars, all these kinds of things, and the supply chains, as we all know, are all messed up. So in the blink of an eye, you could realize, oh my gosh, I might not be able to get my hands on the things I need. So being able to order them right to your home and having a supply stockpiled is definitely peace of mind. And to take them on a trip in the backcountry is highly recommended. The Jace case comes with 5 different antibiotics. Comes with this emergency antibiotic guide that tells you exactly how to safely take all the different antibiotics. It's not a matter of if, but a matter of when you're gonna need this. Check the link in my bio, pick yourself up one. Good chance it could save your life.
Dining area, kitchen.
Oh yeah?
This is part of a hotel that they take out.
People sleep out there and everything? Wow.
Thinking that they had power.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Because France never, I don't think, had a super impressive navy anyways,
But there were other wars going on at the time too.
look at all the whales out there. So what are they doing in here? Are they fishing? Are
They're
they
actually, yeah, they're breeding, they're feeding, and giving birth. It's called it's the Enterprise, but they call it the Beluga now.
old ruins or something? You actually grew up on the trap line and that? Family basically running
running the line,
and then you had like your dad, mom and brothers and everybody.
Mom, dad, and his 10 siblings.
Oh wow.
9 siblings, 10 with me.
Yeah. So you guys all kind of had your own line and your own tasks and stuff like that?
Our own little areas on a big trap line. Here's our cemetery. There was a freighter that was hauling iron ore out of Rankin. Second World War vintage. So we're crashed.
That's a pretty decent crash landing. Good pilot then.
Awesome pilots, yeah. The guys all walked away.
Wow.
Wow.
So they probably skipped across the rocks for quite a
They
ways.
must have did some skipping, yeah. If you look at the wingspan on that puppy,
Yeah.
they could probably almost be crawling at a crawl, right? Because these things were designed like a lot of power,
Yeah.
and they said they designed them to go over the Alps
Oh,
with a
okay.
load.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Was it a DC-3?
it's similar,
Yeah.
but it's a 46.
Okay.
C-46.
Like,
They called them bush pilots back then, right? It is, yeah.
so there's one of the engines.
Yeah, there's an engine right over here.
Never seen a plane crash before.
Yeah, there's ptarmigan. Right.
Yeah, we only saw one ptarmigan the whole trip.
We are just in a plane crash. Is this cool or what?
We're just in a plane crash. We're in a plane crash. Big
We
difference.
are just in a plane
I
crash.
think, Ted, we should just throw a little wood stove in here.
Right.
You know, just staple some blankets over the windows and, you know, make ourselves at home.
For sure. Apparently the pilot and the other guys on board all walked away. So good pilot, even though it crashed, they managed to skip across these smooth boulders and plow through the small trees and crash land safely. One of the engines flew off and the propeller and the thing's pretty banged up, but honestly, like, you know, a little duct tape, some PL, you know, I'm sure, you know, they get this bird back in the air, right? Be cool to hear a recount of their story and how it all went down. Here is the polar bear jail.
Yeah.
Not a common thing in most places. Pretty cool. And it's, I would imagine inside right now there could be anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 polar bears.
They can hold as many as 30 bears.
30 bears, wow. There's the bear trap. I definitely think Jim would fall for that. Especially if you put like a walleye in there or a pickerel.
Oh yeah.
These are the traps. They trap the bears. They put them in the bear jail.
Bear trap.
Ideally.
They give them a 30-day sentence.
Yeah.
They get a 30-day sentence. They can think about what they did wrong. And then they let them go.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side, our fears are done.
That big pen over there.
Oh, the good times just begun.
Start back up here. Yeah, we've got a tour of the town. Hey, that one looks like Buck. Yeah, oh, I've never seen one. Blue Sky Sled in Bed, you said?
But things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
Hi Fiona, are you 19?
It gives them a little bit more warmth. You'll know.
Fiona is 19. Guess you guys gotta eat a lot of eggs, eh?
My friend went on alone. She came in third. She did really good. Yeah.
And you guys did. I think we should probably just come. You're the squirrel.
Here at Blue Sky Expeditions and Blue Sky Bed and Sled, we are just checking out their facilities here, meeting all their happy sled dogs. They're just having a blast here, running around, all hanging out as a pack.
And,
are you 17 and a half?
He's 17 and a half yet.
Oh.
He's microchipped, aren't you, Elcha?
Come back.
Pack.
Yeah, we've been accepted as part of the pack. Great place they have here. Really cool to check out. Some really great people here. Gerald is taking us around and showing us the sights today. It's just an awesome part of Churchill. Heading to this train station to board our train. Got a lot of gear to load and want to make sure that everything's in order.
Before I sleep, hear the crickets, see the moon. Side by side and through. No limit to what we can do.
Right on. You guys going to Winnipeg?
Thompson.
Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Buzz crazy, but things are finally right. You and I, the future is
Packed and ready to go. Loaded on the train, gear inside, ready to go. We just got to go get our tickets, put some labels on them, and get comfortable for the long, what I hear is an 18-hour train ride to Thompson. Aboard the Muskeg Express.
you and I can weather any storm.
What river is that?
And there he is. That was quick. So we have made it to Thompson, Manitoba. Long train ride through the night from Churchill. The train is called the Muskeg Express. They've named it because it goes through a lot of muskeg, which means it goes through a lot of permafrost, which means it's very challenging to keep the track level. So it's a little wonky, so they got to go really slow and carefully through some sections. In fact, there was a derailment and the train was out for a couple of weeks, and they only just got it going a couple of days before we got to Churchill, or we would have been stranded there. So thankfully it was back up and running by the time our train left. But it gives you an idea of how things can go. I mean, you just get a little bit of melt in that permafrost and your track goes woo, you know. So you know, but yeah, safe train ride. It was really nice and kind of cool as well, just all through the wilderness. Jim picked up our Mitsubishi Delica that we grabbed from Wright Drive and took a cab over to where we left it at Wings Over Kissing, and we are going to start loading it up and begin the long drive home. But what a freaking adventure all around it's been up until this point. I was sort of thinking the adventure ended with our boat shuttle, but it continued in Churchill and the belugas and the sightseeing and just visiting dog sled teams at Blue Sky Dog Sleds was awesome. And just such a character, Jack Batzone, who gave us the shuttle, the boat shuttle, and put us up in his place. It was a great experience, and fingers crossed we have a safe drive home.